Ha! Hello, everyone. Welcome. I am Janie Lin, and today I have with me Danielle Matthews, and we are going to be chatting about ASEA Redox, which has become, holy cow, one of my favorite products ever.
We'll pick the best laugh.
Thank you.
Of course.
Oh, so Danielle, can you share with us a little bit of your background and um, how you got into ASEA and
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of funny how life opens up. I was in a really severe accident, gosh, we're coming on 10 years ago in June. And I lost my health. I went from a very high functioning, 23-year-old to being unable to concentrate for more than 10 minutes at a time. I had severe pounding in my head, couldn't handle light noise, ended up losing my job. And it's interesting how life, I think things happen for us at the time. Sometimes it doesn't make sense, but I was being guided and put on a different path. And so for years, I was searching for ways to heal my body and to get healthy. And unfortunately, I was told by my doctors, traditional doctors, my neurologist, after a year that this was just my new normal. With the head injury like I had from the accident, my body would do no further healing. And it's interesting, Janie, because now through this journey, I have met so many other people. Maybe it wasn't a head injury, but they've been told, hey, this is chronic. Hey, you need to learn to live around this. Hey, you're going to be on this medicine forever. There's nothing we can do for this issue. And I got to tell you, I found solutions. And I think when you ask and you're clear, like the universe guides things in to you. You got to be open to receive, but the answers are there when you start asking. And so, what happened was an acupuncturist called my mom and said, listen, I've come across a new technology. I'm using it in my practice. It's helping all my clients. It's stimulating cellular repair, going in and helping them where they have damage and allowing them to their bodies to, heal that area. And she said, I think it would pass the blood-brain barrier and help Danielle. And so that was like my initial introduction into it. And it's so interesting because my degree's in biology. I've always been fascinated by the body, but I was kind of blocked to this at the beginning. And I thought, this sounds too good to be true. This stuff
yeah.
is from saline. Like, what are we talking about here? And I blew this stuff off for 6 months. I did a little bit of like Googling on the internet, right? I didn't like research it. And there were some things that popped up that said, oh, it's salt water, it's a scam. And I blew this off. I blew my mom off. I said her friend was in a scam. And it's so funny how like it just kept knocking on my door. Like my mom started using it and she had results, bone on bone in her hands. All of a sudden, full range of motion back, inflammation gone. And my dad starts using it. He has results. 30-year-old knee injury, now feeling better. He's doing more in his workouts. And I'm like, okay, is this placebo? Right? Like, what is this? And eventually,
It's all in their head. Maybe it's not.
I know that's what I thought. I was convinced. And then they said to me, hey, this can't hurt. It might help. Like, why don't you try it? And that's how I dove into it. And I'll tell you what, I didn't have results like day one. It wasn't like I took this and everything got better. But 3 months into this, it stimulated enough of the repair in my own body that the pounding in my head stopped for the first time in 2 years. And I started to be able to concentrate again and I had energy again. And it was like I got my personality back. I started to have hope again for life. And over the years now, it's been 8 years. I've had, full recovery. My body is doing incredibly well. And I've gone on now because of this shift that it caused in me. I just thought, well, this all happened for a reason. I'm in a position I need to share this with others. And I've had the pleasure and the privilege to watch hundreds of lives change from taking these redox signaling molecules. So that's how I got into it. And it's why I have such a passion. People say, Danielle, like your passion is just, it makes me want to listen. And I'm like, yeah, when your life gets shifted in that way, you realize the power of something and you want to share.
Yeah. Well, and it's kind of funny when you talk about the passion of it because it's like when you first get on it, you're like, nah, I don't know, maybe not. But you know that something is changing and something's going on. And then you do like me an experiment and let's just forget to take for a day. And then you're like, whoa, yep, it's working.
It can be subtle at the beginning, right? Because like it goes where your body needs it. And sometimes we're consciously aware of where our body is having problems. So other times we're not.
Yeah.
And the shift might be, oh my gosh, I'm sleeping deeper. Oh my gosh, I'm waking up refreshed. Like what just happened? Or wow, my meditations are deeper. I'm feeling more intuitive. Like there are things that happen when your body gets back into alignment and this physical body of ours starts vibrating on the right levels. Like things happen. Um, it's fun. It's fun to play around with. That's for sure.
You know what? It actually is, and I would almost suggest like journaling because there's so many changes that happen on such a subtle level that it's like, wow, that happened, but you don't realize it until it's been happening or that it's changed and it's been like a week and you're like, oh, that's new.
Yep.
Well, for example, so I've been through chronic stress for way too many years, and especially the last 4 years. So what I noticed is there was a lot of things like my intuition, my mental clarity, um, operating through the day without taking a nap, um, my feet hurting, my joints hurting, like weird, odd things that I've never had before have all happened in the last 4 years.
Mhm. Mhm.
And
Stress does crazy things to the body. That's for sure.
it does, but the redox is so cool because I noticed the other day I was like, I need to go for a walk. And I was like, well, that's a new thought. That thought hasn't popped in for a long time. And then there was something else was going on and it was like a really loud awareness, don't eat that.
Mm.
Or we're just not hungry. We don't feel like eating.
Yep. Yep.
And I make sure I eat at least once a day because I really don't get hungry anymore.
Mm.
Um, but it
Yeah.
was like, nope, not time. So it's fun to just play with it like that. It's
Yeah.
yeah.
And every person has a little bit of a different response. So it's always fun for me to see, well, what's it going to do for this body? Right. And it starts kind of working through things. Our body has its own internal kind of checklist. It knows what's needed. So it goes to the biggest fire first and then starts working through the rest. So
Mhm.
when you're patient with your body, when you give it what it needs, it's amazing what the body can do. And when you're feeling better, I think you do make better choices. Oh, I've got the energy. Yeah, let's go for a walk. Well, that's also going to then help with weight. It's going to help probably with drinking more water. It's going to help with maybe even choices you then decide to eat. Um,
Mhm.
it's amazing how, I mean, it's all interrelated. And what I love about this is, look, this is something that your body makes. Redox signaling is something that you had a lot of when you were young and you just have made less over the years. And so when you reintroduce this to your system, your body knows what it is. It's not going to contraindicate with any medications. You can't be like allergic to it. There's no toxicity. You just get it into your system. Your body knows what to do. It starts functioning like you did when you were younger, right? Repairing faster, having that level of energy. So it's always it's really fun to know, hey, this is safe for everybody to give it a try. And just what is it going to give to your body? Well, time will tell.
Yeah. So being safe for everybody, would you say that it's safe for kids also?
Yeah, and it's interesting, with children, um, they have a lot of redox in them. We start making less after puberty, and so most kids are doing pretty well. But then, of course, now we see that there are childhood things coming up, right? There are issues in children's systems, and what's fascinating is when you give them redox, they tend to respond faster because it's like their cup is already pretty full. You put a little bit more signaling in, it's like having 4 bars of service on your cell phone and going to 5. Like there's a little bit of extra, or like just getting a little bit more, stronger Wi-Fi signal. The computer works a little bit faster, and you feel that, and so children can bounce back pretty quickly. And there's a topical. I've got a lot of friends that a lot of little kids, and burns, bruises, bug bites, like you name it, something is always going on. And it's like this stuff is first aid in a tube. I mean, you just take it and you put it where you want more signaling, right? Oh, you just
Yeah.
bumped yourself. Okay, let's repair that area specifically. Let's rub it right there. And so for kids, it's like one of these things. Like, I got friends that always keep it in the diaper bag, right?
Yep.
And there's kids that run and get the Renew 28 if there's ever an issue. So
Yep.
yeah, definitely good for kids.
Yeah, I had the same experience with my youngest. He was like bumps and bruises. He's at the clumsy age and I mean like a lot of massive and it stings for a little bit, but then he's like, "Oh." And he was the one that was like, "I need that. Where's the tube? Where's the stuff? I need the stuff." before he got out of bed in the morning and when he was going to bed at night, because he didn't need it more than that because it was dealing with a lot of like deep, like muscle and bone bruises. So
Yeah,
I
it
was,
goes.
I'm,
It's not just for the skin. I mean, it's so interesting. Originally, so here's kind of the. I always love to hear how things like come into being. So the
yeah,
liquid was the only thing that was available, and people started putting it in spray bottles, and they started spritzing it on their skin. They started seeing results actually with wrinkles because new skin cells were being stimulated, and so healthy young cells were coming in faster. And they started spraying it on other things. And they asked the company, "Can you make a topical of this because it's doing amazing things?" And it took the company 5 years to make the topical, right? That didn't come out for a while. It was like 40 iterations before they found something that could allow these molecules to congeal without letting them react. And so
right.
that's where New 28 came from. And they originally just kind of did the research on what it does for skin health. And it did amazing things. Wrinkle depth going down, right? Skin elasticity improving, new skin cells turning over 16% faster, like amazing. But we got our hands on it and we went, no, 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 this goes deeper than the skin. Like, so I always tell people, like, if you've got discomfort somewhere, you can't move that joint the way you used to be able to, like, just send the alert call, rub the gel. Evidently, 3 applications in a 5-minute window seems to do some magic. It's like enough of an alert that that area repairs. I mean, it's like, boom, 10 minutes. Just notice the shift, play with it, see what happens.
Yeah. Well, and that's the fun thing about this is if you go into it with no expectations, because it does work different for everybody, then you're surprised on a daily basis as to what new thing that's happening or that it's changed or
Yeah, I'm still surprised. I'm 8 years into this, and I was at the conference last week. The company had a global conference, and so there was product, right? They give you product when you check in. It's kind of there. So I was taking lots of it. Usually you drink like 4 ounces a day. I drink 8 ounces a day. It's just, I call it the magic 8. It just does wonders. Anyway,
uh-huh.
I probably drank 16 ounces a day. I mean, I was drinking a lot. And came home and my nails were so long and so strong. And I was like, holy cow, yeah, like it's an indicator of good health, right? And I think my hair got a little longer too. And it's just like, oh yeah, things are working well in my system now.
I need some extra bottles then. I'll try that out for a week.
I figure when you're around a lot of people, I mean, one of the things these molecules do in the body, it's not just detecting the damage, between cells, but it's also keeping things turned on within. So it activates our genes. And one of the genes it keeps turned on is the innate immune response. And so I was, going to be around like 1,000 people. It was in Las Vegas, like just there was tons of people. And I thought, well, I want to keep my immune system strong. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm going to take more. And worked out well.
Did you sleep at night?
Actually, it makes me sleep like a baby. So like it's not that it like gives me so much energy that like, oh my gosh, I can't calm down. Like it keeps me alert, but then when I'm ready to go to sleep, I fall asleep quickly. I sleep deeply. My dreams are more vivid. Yeah, there's a lot of communication going on within my brain.
Like it's happy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. So one of the other things I wanted to ask you about was um with the kids that are in school,
Mhm.
experiencing things that are compromising their immune system, like
Mhm.
lots of things that go up their nose.
Mhm.
So I know of a kiddo that has had at least 20 of those over the course of the last couple years because of school. Um, and so now this kiddo has migraines, he has stomach issues, digestive issues. He's missing school at least once, twice a month.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, if it's signaling cells, and reactivating things and helping the immune system, um, how do you feel that it helps with something like that?
Yeah. Well, you can get it issue, the better. And so this is something like if you put in the spray bottle, you can spray it and breathe it in.
Okay.
Uh, you can put Renew 28 on your finger, and put it in. If he drinks it, it's going to go into his system. And again, it helps each body where they need it. So what I love is you don't need to know the reason. We don't need to know why his system is off. If we just introduce back into the body's own innate communication network that helps it identify where the issues are and start repairing, we're going to be better off. And so getting it into him, like I said earlier, kids usually they respond quicker because their body is doing pretty well already with the signaling. But you just put a little bit in, it goes a long way. And if you can get it direct to any of the issues, like if his nose is sensitive or if he's got, stuff going on in his head, you can rub it on the vagus nerve. It gets in, to the body quickly that way, base of your skull. There's all these things that you can do because it can't hurt, right?
Right.
I mean, the beautiful thing is experiment and find what works for you. It's kind of like your sleep number on a sleep number bed, right? It's going to go up,
right,
and we're going to see where you're going to land. Same thing here, and it's safe to play around with. So, I would say use both. Use the topical, tell it where to go, have him drink it, and see what happens, and continue on if you and he like the results.
Yeah. Cool. So that was one thing. And then the other thing is I've been asked a lot about how does this help with like weight loss if somebody is stuck? Because well, like with myself, we'll use me as an example. So chronic stress leads to upset cortisol and other things, hormone imbalance. So if it's just if the ASEA is just going where it's needed, is it going to just create new signaling with the?
So to answer that, so like the ASEA, and this is what it looks like, guys. It's not designed for weight loss, right? It's not designed for anything specific. But
right.
And what's interesting is on the back of the bottle, one of the studies is listed here, and I was talking about how it turns on the gene that helps with the innate immune response. Well, the others are listed on here, and one of them is a healthy inflammatory response in the body, the gene that helps cardiovascular health, gut health, and hormone modulation. And so what's interesting is it goes in, and if your hormones are not signaling properly, it goes in and it gets them back into realignment. And so if that shift was causing you to have weight gain, well, when we get back into homeostasis, right, what's going to happen? And so I've had people that they've shed like 17 pounds for starting to drink this. They didn't change anything. They didn't do anything different. They didn't eat any different. But it was because it was actually something hormonal that was causing these shifts internally. And so, every person, right? It's like what you put in the gas tank matters. So make sure you're eating properly, exercising. I mean, all these things. You got to make good choices about what you're putting in. But this is going to get the engine running properly, right? We're going to turn on the gas in a different way, put the pedal to the metal, right? But if you don't have the right gas in the gas tank, we're not going to go very far. So make sure you're still eating properly.
Yes, well, and I'm glad you said that too, because that was one of the things I noticed this week. Because so I've gone through almost 2 cases of it already, so a couple months, and I noticed that my motivation had been reactivated, and I had a whole new awareness on this, stop waiting around for things to happen. And it was because I was taking the initiative to make the changes that needed to be changed without even thinking about it. And before, honestly, it had been like trying to push a brick wall up a hill. I'm gonna do it regardless. Oh, and now it's like it's so much more ease with that.
Yeah, so interesting. I mean, when we get into alignment, our physical body, I think energetically we free up too, and so much more can just flow. But we have to get everything aligned, and I just love that this works from the physical space out, and can get you, exactly where your body needs. So yeah, I'm not surprised to hear that. And it's really fun to hear and see. And you're going to continue. Like I'm 8 years into this and I'm still, seeing things unfold. And I'll never be without it. When I exercise, I'm not as sore afterwards. It's one of these things that I know it's going to help me proactively as I go out into the world. And as I continue to age, just hopefully can do it a bit more gracefully.
Yes.
Have my protecting issues before they, I'm going to the doctor for something. That's the hope.
Yeah. So something else exciting today, we have some new products that just came out today.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. Um, so can you share a little bit about how those help and what they're for?
Yeah, it's interesting. This company, ASEA is the name, they are all about cellular health. And so everything they do is informed by, okay, how can we power the potential of the human body at its foundational piece at the cell? And we're just trillions of cells. So if we can
Yeah.
get our cells talking, communicating, we're going to have a healthier body, right? Healthier tissues, healthier organs, healthier systems. And so that's the space that they've played in now for 12 years. And they've been constantly thinking and asking. And part of what I love is they put a lot of money into R&D, trying to figure out how else can we maximize cell performance.
Yeah.
And what has come out of that, and it was interesting because of COVID, like they kind of pulled back from traveling, from opening new markets. It was like this time of more reflection, and they had time to do some more analysis, some more research. And they've come out with a cell performance line that is, if you think about, the signaling, what we've been talking about, it's kind of like the electricity flowing through the house, right? We
Yeah.
need electricity, whether it's turning on our air conditioner, our stove, the lights, like we need it. It's charging our cell phone, internet, right? We use it for so much. These cell performance products are like going into a specific room in the house and flipping a switch. And so they looked at three areas, three things that I think most commonly in the world people are dealing with, one of which is fatigue. I think there's been a lot of, I think computer fatigue, just because we've so much has gone online over the last couple of years, but
Yeah.
there's people's energy is down.
Yeah.
And so they created what they're calling redox energy. And I've got it here. This is the packaging, but they come in these little packets, and it's just a powder that you put
Mhm.
in water. You drink it, and within like an hour, most people within minutes, they're feeling this boost. And it has natural things in it. It has guarana in it, which is what's kind of the one thing that's helping so much with energy. But
Uh-huh.
L-theanine, vitamin B3, vitamin B6, vitamin B12, ginseng. It's filled with all these things to support the body on a cellular level with increased efficiency with energy. And so for fatigue, like knocks it out of the park. But I think one of the other things that's been a real issue is brain fog. A
Yeah.
lot of people that have dealt with the virus or just like the inundation of information, I think people are feeling a little foggy.
Yeah.
And I know that feeling all too well because I lived in a brain fog. And so I
Yeah.
get it. And it is hard to break, and it's intense. And so they came out with Redox Mind, which is it's the red one. Okay, but Mind, interestingly, it's got different things in it. It's got a red orange complex that has like things that stimulate glutathione.
Mm.
It's got things in it that like NMN, which is something that we supplement here just at the house, and zinc. These things that are going into the body at the cellular level and helping with focus. And so when you take it, it just kind of helps you dial in better into whatever the activity is, whatever it is
Yep.
you're to do. It's like if that's the switch you need to flip, that's been the frustrating piece. You just pour this in 12 ounces of water, boom, you got your focus for the day.
Mhm.
And then the last piece was mood. And it's so funny. It's like I'm just like showing each of these, but I've got them here. Mood is like it's a pretty color, and I was like, what do they mean by mood? Right? Are we like getting into the mood, or like it's just like happiness? Like what are we talking about? So
They did make them really pretty colors. I'm like, "Ooh, I want."
they did a good job. They did a good job
Yeah.
with that. They are definitely catchy. But the mood, interestingly, is like people that have anxiety, people that are feeling overwhelmed. And it's like, I can't tell you the number of people, especially like my age, I don't know what it is, but people are filled with anxiety.
Yeah.
And I have my theories. In the news, the amount of fear that's out there, like it just causes a lot of dis-ease within us, which can, show up as anxiety. But that's why they designed mood. It goes in, it's got GABA, it's got saffron in it, it's got all of these things, ashwagandha, like all these things that are going in to support the body in a natural way, to help lift mood. And so I've had a friend, she's got severe kind of social anxiety. She took mood, and she's like, Danielle, it's like I'm calm and I can handle these situations now. I had a mother give it to her son that was dealing with very, very low mood. And, she was quite concerned, has been for some time. He took it over the weekend and he said to her, "Wait, mom, like, is this how normal people feel?" This is amazing. So it's like, it's so fun to be able, again, to flip a switch and very quickly be able to allow our body to experience something. And to me, like, the electricity is the powerhouse, right? Like, that's what I want: communication. I want my body functioning properly. But if I know I just need to dial in on one thing, if I'm dealing with anxiety and that's preventing me from living a full life, great. Like, make some mood. You can even heat it up. Some people are telling me they're just drinking it, warm, almost like a cup of tea. So,
So does it taste interesting or?
it's good. They all taste good.
I
Yeah.
was gonna say, huh?
Yeah, it's like, well, we didn't talk about this. So guys, the blue bottle, the signaling, it's a little bit like pool water, but because you can't flavor this. It reacts with anything. But this, they could give it a little bit of nice flavor. And so it's like citrusy, berry, tropical, like, it's good.
Oh, fun. Yeah. I was wondering about that because it'd be a little interesting to get your kiddos to drink 16 ounces of
Yeah, a pool water. Yeah, they don't.
something, pool water.
Yep. They will want this. They will be asking for it. It has been a hit. Everybody that I was with last week that brought some home for their kids, they've loved it. The energy, like, for ones that like to work out too, or in sports, it's like a really good natural way to help with energy. I've had a lot of people telling me too, it's replaced their coffee, and some of those junky energy drinks that they were drinking. So it's yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely tasty to take. So.
That's helpful, and I'm really excited about those too because just the Redox by itself,
Yeah.
I mean, it works on everything, and to be able to just amplify and pinpoint somewhere is super exciting.
I know. And what's interesting is they did, like, consumer studies, right? So you give this to somebody, you don't tell them what it is, what the effects are supposed to be, and then they take a survey afterwards. And it was like above 80% with each of these, of people feeling, oh my gosh, yeah, I took the mind and, like, I can focus more. I mean, they didn't know it was called mind, but
Mhm.
what they didn't do, like, none of those people were taking the ASEA. None of them were taking signaling. And so I am super excited. I mean, it just, like, today it's out, but I'm super excited to hear that taking signaling that have strong electricity flowing, like, what happens when they flip the switch, right? I feel like there's going to be another level to it. So yeah, remains to be seen, but we'll have to come back and talk about it.
Yeah, that's and something else I was gonna ask you too is you've been on it for the 8 years,
Mhm.
and it's been out for what, like 12?
Yeah,
Yeah. So, has it changed, do you think, from, like, 8 years ago to now, or is it, like, exactly the same?
exactly the same. They produce it in the same way. They're constantly learning more about it. What I would say is, it was like they were at the tip of the iceberg when I learned about it, and I still feel that we are. Like, the power of this stuff, what I've watched it do over the years, it's like, holy cow, what do we have our hands on?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a patent protected process. So, and they've got intellectual property on it. So we don't know exactly how they make it, but I've been to the plant, I've watched it. It's a 3.5 day process. They literally use saline to make it, which blew my mind at the beginning until somebody said, Danielle, your body is mostly saline. Like, you go to the ER, they hook you up to a drip of saline. You cry, it's salty. You sweat, it's salty. Like, your body
Yeah.
is saline. So your body uses sodium and chloride of salt and hydrogen and oxygen of water to make a lot
Yep.
of different molecules. Like, hydrogen peroxide, I think, is something that we all have in our house. It's H2O too. Water's H2O. Same fundamental building blocks, right? Very different molecule, but it's a redox molecule. And so
Uh-huh.
superoxide, same thing, right? Just multiple oxygens. So it's one of these things that when you start to go, oh, I get it, right? I get, okay, they're taking these 4 foundational things, they're making different combinations. You could make a lot of combinations, you can make a lot of molecules. They're known as reductants and oxidants. That term together is redox. It's how it's talked about in the literature, and that's what's in here. It's those different combinations. So interesting how it's produced, but they have not changed it. They won't be changing it. It works. They've got millions they've spent on safety studies to make sure, hey, this is safe for everybody to take, not going to cause inflammation or any issues in the body. So yeah, they're not changing. It's like They found gold. You don't change gold. You keep
No,
the standard.
do not reinvent that wheel.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. So, is there anything else? Do you think we've covered a lot today? Do you think there's anything else that we maybe could mention that would be helpful to those who are
I
thinking about
just
hopping on? Or
like, I just hope people try it, see what this is gonna bring you. You've stumbled across this for a reason, and quite frankly, I never know if it's you, right? That you're the person that's supposed to hear about this, or if it's somebody you love. But like, it's entering your world. This is hope in a bottle for a lot of people. And, take it seriously, be open to what this is, dive deeper into it if you want, but the proof's in the pudding. Get it, experiment with it, see what it's going to bring you. And Janie, I love that your phone number, I'm guessing it's your phone number, has kind of
yes,
been down here because I would say reach out to Janie, talk to her and say, look, this is my situation. What would you recommend? Because just buying one bottle of this, it'll last you a week. Is that enough? Well, what's going on? What are we trying to accomplish? One packet of this is going to give you energy, but what are we looking to repair? How are we looking to get the system back into place? It took me 3 months, to get my experience with it. But reach out, talk to Janie, let her kind of problem solve with you, make suggestions. She's been a great student with learning about this over the last couple of months. It's been fun myself witnessing what it's done for you over the last couple of months. And that's all I would add is just have a conversation, dive deeper. This might be something that's supposed to bless someone in your family or even for someone you meet tomorrow. But yeah, it's presented here to you today and I can't wait to see what path you take with it, where it brings you. And Janie, I can't wait for you to start getting more stories about what it's doing for people. Cause it's like, there's a day that you get excited because of what you see it do for yourself.
yep.
My world changed when I shared this with a couple, and this gentleman had two severe neurological events. He had also hit his head and had a lot of trauma. And I mean, he wasn't speaking well. He was just not who he was. He was a shadow of himself. And we got him on Redox. And his wife said to me, like, you gave me my husband back. He's talking again. He's going to the gym. He's having a life. And I just went, my gosh, like how amazing. Like I got paid in goosebumps. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
how amazing that something could come through me, because of my experience, it coming across my path. And I was able to give the gift. I think this should have a little sticker that says you're now responsible because it's like you have this responsibility to tell people. I don't care if people say no, but like you don't know what you don't know. Like,
Right.
come get educated. Come learn what this stuff is. Talk to people that have been using it. I mean, blow your mind. And we partner with one of the doctors on the medical board. And so if people want to speak with a doctor, kind of get perspective, they can do that. They can just reach out to you. You can plug them into that. But yeah, there's a lot here.
Which
So
is super helpful.
yeah,
Yeah. And it's been amazing even on my journey. And that's why I'm excited to share it with like everybody because a lot of the questions that I couldn't and the things that I couldn't change on my own, sometimes we just need to turn the dial. We need to add one little thing or, uh, you know, but from mind chatter to not sleeping at night to being able to understand, is this mine or am I picking up on something else? I
yeah.
mean, all over the board, I get goosebumps thinking about it because it's so many things I struggled with for so long. It was just one little simple thing that was shared with me and I,
Yeah. Isn't amazing.
awesome.
It's like the gravity and the simplicity of this too. It's just like, wow. I'm still in awe, like 8 years in, still in awe. So, welcome.
Yeah, right. Because it's got to be complicated to fix this thing. Because I haven't been able to fix it for change it for X amount of time.
Yeah,
But no, it's like, well, we changed it yesterday.
it's amazing. Just a little, like you said, you just got to kind of turn the dial a little bit sometimes, and this
Yeah,
helps you do it in its natural way, in the way that it knows how, and like these beings are very powerful. So give it what it needs. Let it do its work.
absolutely. Awesome. So thank you so much, Danielle, for chatting with me about this today. And
Yeah.
for all of those of you that are watching now and in the future, um, my link is scrolling across there, and but I would suggest, use my phone number and shoot me a text. I do screen my calls, so shoot me a text before you call.
You
That
buy
way I
that.
know who you are. Um, but because sometimes the site does get a little confusing, but just give me a shout and we'll figure out where you need to go. And awesome. Thank you so much.
Having me on, Janie. Fun.
You're welcome.
Ready?